Hi, everyone. My name is Athena Schwartz. I use they, them pronouns. I am a student health educator with ACEs, and I am in my last year of getting my bachelor's here at the U, studying community health education. And I am so grateful to be here with Professor Fukushima.
Hello.
Awesome. So we're just going to get started, go right into those questions. So this year's theme for our wellness fair is wellness beyond whiteness. Can you tell me a little bit about what this phrase means to you?
Yeah. Well, I think hearing the term wellness beyond whiteness, I think we have to first unpack the whiteness about wellness. And so then what makes wellness and assumptions about wellness white? And I think that it has a lot to do with our understandings of what does it mean to be a full human being in our communities. And oftentimes in the United States, we are an individualistic society that values how we take care of ourselves and how we pick ourselves up by our own bootstraps. And I think that in that kind of a model, many communities that are marginalized racially, gender identity, sexuality, because of class, national origins, oftentimes don't fit into those models, not because they aren't resilient and amazing and persevere, but because the structures of our society weren't intended for them to succeed to begin with. So to me, then to go back to wellness beyond whiteness, it means that there is a commitment to collective responsibility. And that is what that wellness looks like.
I love this whole idea of collectiveness and really being a community. I feel like that needs to be so emphasized. Or thank you. That has a lot of
Yeah.
insight in it. How do you
Yeah.
see this theme show up in your work, and how do you do this on a daily basis?
So I live far from my family. My family is all over the United States, but my mother, father, and sister are in Hawaii. And so I have for years as an academic been working and organizing and being in collective with other people that have been more of my chosen family and friends. And so for me, the way that this has shown up then is that I created a Women of Color Academics Collective at the University of Utah, and it is a collective. And so we are faculty, graduate students, we do have some administrators, and the intention was to create intergenerational support among folks who identify as women of color. And women of color is quite broad, so we understand that the category women is fluid, and we understand people of color identify with these communities across the spectrum, and that Blackness, indigeneity, and even whiteness shapes our very complex communities. And so that's what I do, and I created was this Women of Color Academics Collective, where we come together with socials, conversations, workshops to discuss a range of needs that will help us succeed in the academe. And so that's one way that it has shown up in my work, in the service side. In my research, I'm definitely committed to thinking about issues of race, gender, and difference. And so this is something I'm always writing and researching and thinking through. And when I'm working with students, mentoring them through that process as well.
I love that.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I have
Mhm.
one last question for you. How can we, as a University of Utah community, improve wellness beyond whiteness?
Mm. Wow. It's that's such a big, complicated question because the reality is we're also in a pandemic, and so and we're also experiencing political and civil unrest, and so there's just a ton going on in our communities, and people are both unhappy about what's going on around them, and even dealing with real health care and public health issues. And so when I think about the responsibility of a university like a University of Utah, I think that it really is trying to create more opportunities of connection. What we know is that, many people are feeling traumatized by their everyday realities, whether it is a fear of getting COVID-19 or other kinds of violences that they've been surviving, whether it's microaggressions to macroaggressions, racism, sexism, heterosexism, ableism, transphobia, the list goes on. And so people experience traumatic events in their lives. And so for me, to break trauma, which is about connection, what trauma does is it breaks our connection to ourselves and to our communities. And so to address that means that we must create connection. And so then for me, the university can facilitate and support more opportunities of safe connection, but also an empathetic connection, because I do think that people are tired. They are feeling zoomed out, or that their time has been overly connected in that sense as well. And so then I would recommend the investment in fluid, adaptable, empathetic forms of connection that continue to create a sense of community and collectiveness amongst our University of Utah people. And so that's what I would recommend.
I really like that. Thank you. I haven't heard the term zoomed out. I've heard Zoom fatigue, but I
Oh,
really like
yeah.
that. I'm going to have to start using that. I
Oh,
think
good.
that's
I
so
started
important.
something.
Thank you so much for talking to me today. I really
Sure.
appreciate your time.
Thank you.